Good evening, y'all. Missed you on Wednesday, and I missed you this morning. Got my workout in this morning, just ran out of time. We had the remnants of Ida in here during the day. Had some scary moments, but everything's fine now. Monday just was overwhelming, just too much going on, and I wasn't going to be able to get it done. I wasn't going to do it on Tuesday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as much as I can. Life does get in the way, and I didn't really have anything pressing. Um, so there's that. Wasn't anything pressing, but it came to me. What was interesting is yesterday was the European football transfer window closure. It runs through August 31st. And what I would say is, number one, memo to UEFA. Can we do the transfer window, which by the way is a neat process. I love it. I love it. Lots of exciting things going on. Ronaldo just went back to Man U for the first time in 12 years. Best player or second best player on the planet, depending on who you talk to. It's like a religion. Catholics, Protestants, Messi, Ronaldo. Damn good player. Even at 36, dude's going to make a difference. And they also signed Sancho. So, Man U did really well. But, again, to UEFA, you have this transfer window, which, like I said, the process is where these teams sell players. They're contracted, but they can be sold. And the neat thing is, when they got a year or two left, then you're really trying to extract some value, because basically you're trading players with cash. So they have this in the summer, and then mid-season in January there's another window. Neat idea though, and this is where I want to get to you, UEFA. Make the summer window end prior to the start of the season. Okay, because all the press over there wants to jump on teams that are halfway through the window. They haven't even finished getting deals done that they want to get done. Their team is a work in process, and they've already played 3 games out of 38. Now, number one, should you be jumping on a team because of 3 games out of 38? No. Arsenal bashers, but it's But the matter is that maybe they should sync that up better. Yeah, but there's a lot going right for European football, whether it be Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, League One. You got the league in Portugal. There's some really good football being played on the continent and in England. And England's class right now. They got 2 or 3 of the best teams on the continent. I mean, you've got Man U is incredibly better, but Man City, Chelsea, after getting Lukaku in, they had a great transfer window. So we got some teams in the Premier League. The Premier League is really becoming the Premier League again. Now PSG and let's say Real Madrid, outside of England, they're doing pretty well. Barca's not so much. So there's a lot going on there. So let me get into what I wanted to talk about today. With that preface, there are some teams that are heavyweight teams because they have a long history. Okay, but for example, I'm an Arsenal fan. It's hard right now, but in the United States, we understand something called the process. Okay, and that is where we want to have a long-term rebuild that's done right. Younger players build a platform, change the way they're played, change the way they're practiced, change the way that you have the environment in the clubhouse, in the dressing room, etc. Cultural change. Okay? That is more of a long-term success story. Now the question is, In the United States, it's tolerated. Tanking's even an art, if you ask the right people. But is Europe ever going to allow a team to do that? Right now, we're having a test of it. There's two of them. One is in year 3 of that. Okay? And the second one's just starting. The one that's just starting, and some other ones too, but it's mainly COVID economics. They've had to shed salary. So it begins to be, other teams begin to be, especially the ones that are owned by emirs and people from Qatar and these other kingdoms where they basically shit money. Excuse me. They crap money in gold bricks. They can just do anything. Like the guys that own PSG, they could buy countries. It's ridiculous. And the same thing with Real Madrid. I mean, there's several of the marquee teams across Europe are owned by Middle Eastern princes or even corporate or kingdom entities. So it changes the economics a little bit, and they have the fair play thing. So there's a certain way they have to balance their books and everything else, but it's a farce. They get around it. But the economics have really changed for certain teams because they had too many wages on their books and no revenue for a while. And so now those chickens come home to roost. And they're really coming home for Barcelona. And then they had to lose Messi because of it. He went to PSG, and now it's going to be painful. And that is one of the blue blood teams. Think like the Yankees in the United States, or the Dallas Cowboys. When they have to do a full rebuild, and the wheels are just off the cart. They're not wobbling, they're off. There's no patience. None. Zero. And that's where Arsenal is now too. Arsenal has been fairly rudderless. I think they've got a great manager. I think Mikel Arteta is going to be very good. He's going to be very good. As it goes to me, when everyone is telling you that you're wrong, you're probably right, and vice versa. And I'll get into what that's called in a little bit when we talk about the afterbirth of everything, and that is the critics. But the process really is rebuilding smaller, younger. Arsenal signed 6 players, all under the age of 24. All very good players. But they weren't the stars that everybody wanted them to get, so everybody's kicking them in the backside, and a few in the front side too, right in twig and berries, if you know what I mean. So I think Arsenal's going to be fine. They win the next 4 or 5 games, very possible. I mean, their first 3 games was a team that had not played in the Premier League. A certain number of teams from the leagues below can qualify. I won't get into it. I've done that in previous videos, but Brentford comes in and they're a really good club. They're unbeaten through 3. They didn't just beat Arsenal and then they sucked after that. Okay, they're unbeaten. They didn't win all 3. They're unbeaten. Okay, so they're legit. The other 2 losses were to teams that are expected to not only win the Premier League, but possibly win the Champions League beyond it, in Chelsea and Man City. And yet people are calling for this guy's head. What I think that is stupid as hell. Yeah. So what they should probably do is see what he can do against teams that are not the number 1 or number 2 team. And by the way, in opening night, they had a COVID outbreak. Several of the players that would start were either quarantined or were injured, including basically his entire striker class. And they lost to a team that's pretty good. They're still decimated by injuries. Thomas Partey, midfielder, very good. And in sports, when one guy, when you're in an ensemble, you work together, and a couple of guys are off, they're out. It changes things. And then it changes the tactics that you're allowed. You have to play a little conservatively, or maybe if you're going over the top more, maybe now you can't. Maybe you got to play possession. There's lots of different things you got to do because you ain't got your people. Do we judge him based on that? Only if we're stupid. You know that I come from a management or a coaching bent in most things. I think Arteta's good. Arteta has a way he wants to play. He doesn't have the players yet. He's close. This team's going to be better than people think. And they signed a Japanese guy on yesterday who is going to be good. He's going to be right there with Ben White. They're going to be good back there. They play a back four or a back three even with those guys in it. They're going to partner very well. The guy's fast and he doesn't make errors. Okay, so this is a team. Watch out. If they were a company on the New York Stock Exchange, I'd be putting a buy order in because they're as low as they're going to get. We buy low and we sell high. And I will bet you they make a run at this thing. From last year, from Boxing Day, which is December 26th, to the end of the season, they were number 3. And they would have been number 2 except for goal differential. Okay? Top 4 gets you into the Champions League. They had a horrible start, but from December 26th on, and Thomas Partey had a lot to do with that. And Emile Smith-Rowe did as well. They're going to be, you've got to look at that and go, okay, this is not a guy we fire. 3 games, 2 of them against really, really exceptional clubs that are ready to go. When you're like half staffed. Come on. I mean, just get rid of your narratives, set them down, press, just set down the narratives and walk away. Go do something else for a living. Because you obviously don't know what the hell you're doing. Mikel does. Yeah, it's night, and I still drink coffee. And it's still... There's no Irish in there. Stewardess, I asked for some Baileys. Anyway, so after all of that, I mean, it's because I had some notes here for myself. Contrarian is very good. To me, I have a saying that I believe in all my life, and it's served me very, very well. And it goes like this: commit it to memory, because it's spectacular. Why? Because I said so. Anyway, it goes like this. Especially when it talks about people talking about stuff or having opinions. The larger the crowd, the dumber the people. The larger the crowd, the dumber the people. So if a smattering of people are saying something, or maybe 50% of the people are saying something, it could still be true. But when everybody's piling on you and you're the lone dissenter, trust the process, because you're right there. There's no reason to. I'm doing something. There's no reason to to abort what you believe in when you have it right. Sorry for the interruption there. We don't do any second takes here. So anyway, you don't abort what your beliefs are because the crowd of stupid fools out there tell you that you're wrong. Trust the process. You trust yourself. You trust the people in your own building. And I will tell you, this compares very favorably to another one of my favorite teams, the Las Vegas Raiders. And they got a guy who's a misunderstood genius as well. His name is Chucky, John Gruden. And the dude knows what he's doing. And Mike Mayock, they keep knocking him for all the the stuff that he's doing. Like last year, this last draft, they got Leatherwood and they went, "Oh, you reached for him." He was the best lineman in the entire draft. He's the Outland Trophy winner. And now everyone, all of a sudden, after Louis Riddick noticed it, they're seeing tape on him in training camp, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute. This guy's really good. He, flattens people." Yeah. Everybody else was out saying Mike Mayock's, he's a couple fries short of a Happy Meal on this one. No, he wasn't. No. Trust the process. When you're the genius, don't suffer the fool. When you are the genius, do not suffer the fool. Simple as that. That's another way of saying it. But Mayock has assembled in a 3-year process. The process. He's taken a team that was completely rudderless, and he has turned them. That is a nice roster. He's brought in one of the chief architects of the Legion of Boom to take a defense from the cellar. He even gets a middling grade this year. And by the way, with bringing in Gerald McCoy, you got Ngakoue, you got Max Crosby. Crikey, as they say. I think they got a top 10 defense. And if they do, they might be doing some ring fitting in Las Vegas. This is a damn good team. He turned it around in 3 years. And the entire time, Mike Mayock and Chucky, they're constantly being beat up. The Khalil Mack trade, before he got there, when it was Chucky doing it, people keep saying, "Oh, you should have kept Khalil Mack. Oh my God, you're horrible." Blah blah blah. They forgot was that Khalil Mack wouldn't sign a long-term deal. That was for a premium number. He wanted to go out and pimp himself and get as much money as he could. Chicago was dumb enough to pay him more. So he forced a trade. That wasn't Chucky coming in and getting rid of somebody who's a good pass rusher. Good, not great. This was not Lawrence Taylor. This was not Reggie White. This is a guy who disappears every other game. But a good one. He's good. But everybody and their uncle, except for Louis Riddick, is all up in Gruden's face and other body parts about how horrible he is. Because he traded Khalil Mack when Khalil Mack gave him no choice. So again, the larger the crowd, the dumber the people. And when you are the genius, do not suffer the fools. Trust the process. I will see the Raiders doing very, very well this season, and I do believe my Arsenal is going to come back as well. We're just not going to suffer the fools anymore. So we're going to trust the process, and we're going to see where that goes. And I think there's a number of teams you can probably point to, and a number of leagues that you can say that to, about. But these are two of the biggest illustrations of it. So that's all I have for today. Hoping I'll be here on Friday morning. Friday morning, I have decided, against my better judgment, that I'm going to do something about prognosticating the NFL. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm either going to do the AFC or the NFC on Friday, and I will do the other one, the other conference, on Monday. And I'll throw some narratives at it, some ideas on who I think is going to do well, and who might just suck balls. I mean, it's just no other way to say it. somebody has to suck if somebody's going to be good. I mean, it's just kind of the way the sports works. But I'm not going to be calling any games, like I said. I'm not going to be doing any prognostication on a weekly basis. But I think it'd be nice to talk about it a little bit. Even though the games don't start until the 12th, or excuse me, the 9th. They start next Thursday night with the Buccaneers and whoever their, forget who their sacrificial lamb is that's coming into Tampa, as you know, they usually do. All right, so again, trust the process. Greater, the larger the crowd, the dumber the people. And the genius should never, ever suffer the fools. So I don't. You guys have a great evening, and a happy Thursday. I will see you hopefully Friday morning. Peace out, me homies. But before that, you thought I was going to forget. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the ringy dingy, say all, and then spread this video far and wide. It's caring, because sharing is caring. And isn't this a time? Just look around. We need more caring. So that means we need more sharing. Get on it. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming around, checking me out. Peace out, me homies. See ya.